Hey, what's up guys, it's Theyo from Fino Concept. So I recently made a video about the iPhone 11 Pro Max, and I did mention in that video that it is the best price to performance budget iPhone to get right now. But I realized that the starting price of $3,500 was a little bit too much for most people, including myself. So here's more or less like an updated video. So if you're someone who is looking for a good enough iPhone to purchase and doesn't worry so much about having an ultra-wide camera, then this video is for you. Here is the iPhone 8 Plus a few years after release. Is it any good? Well, let's find out then. First off, let's talk about the design. The one I have here is the product red version, which I love a lot. Red and black are my favorite colors after all. It is still glossy and fingerprinty on the back especially, so you might want to get a case for this. The rear houses an LED flash with the Apple logo and both cameras, which we'll talk about later in this video. The right side is for the SIM tray and power button, whilst the left side shows the volume lockers and silence slider. The buttons are very tactile and comfortable to press on. Although I don't have huge hands, these buttons are placed high enough that I could reach them one-handed with no issues. At the front of the device is the front-facing camera, the massive screen, and the iconic Apple home button. Then finally, the lightning ports for charging, the microphone and speaker grill are at the bottom. I did say massive screen, but the screen itself is a 5.5 inches IPS LCD with 625 nits of brightness. It's not the brightest screen I've seen on the market, but it gets decently bright outdoors on a sunny day. And in this part of the video, I had to increase my exposure just to compensate for the not so bright screen. And as you can clearly see, my hands are definitely overexposed here. It's also a 16:9 aspect ratio with a 1080p resolution. With a 10nm A11 Bionic chip with 3 core graphics, it performs quite well. If you're going to be using this for daily tasks like checking emails, browsing the web, being on social media, or watching my YouTube content, then you wouldn't have any issues with this. Straight out of the box, it is running on iOS 11, but with the iOS 15 dropping to older devices, even the iPhone 6, having it on the 8 Plus makes most things, if not everything, run smoothly. Unlike the latest iPhone, and by latest I mean the iPhone 10 and upwards, this still has the home button. And apart from having an embedded fingerprint scanner for security, it is used for most of the navigation gestures that we are used to now. I occasionally found myself swiping from the left or the right to go back and swiping from the bottom to go home when I had to use the home button. Completely forgot about it. It also comes with IP67 dust and water resistance rating, which makes this phone survive in a meter deep water up to 30 minutes. All powering this device is a 2691 mAh battery with 15 watts of fast charging, which may not sound like a lot, but we all know Apple has its own way of optimizing games and apps and the battery to get most out of it, even when all the 8 Plus comes with 3 gigs of RAM. With a base storage of 64 gigs and no expandable storage option, it may worry some number of people. I personally haven't been too worried about storage so much. More the reason why I still daily drive a 32 gig internal storage phone, because most of the time I just come home and back up my photos and videos on the PC. And even with my phone, I still have the option to add in a micro SD card if the need be. So that is good. But on the iPhone, we don't get that. The rear houses a 12 megapixel f1.8 28mm wide main lens and a 12 megapixel f2.8 57mm telephoto. For photos, the images are natural and normal looking, although a bit warmer than I would like, but the amazing compensation in dynamic range makes it difficult for me to complain too much here. Both the main and telephoto produces great enough photos. And since the HDR on the iPhone is so good, most of my photos didn't have that much contrast. I love dark portions of an image looking dark, rather than dark gray that the iPhone produces. And as I was taking pictures of this beautiful creature right here, I realized it wasn't always getting him in focus, but when it did, it would miss focus on the face sometimes. For videos, the rear cameras shoot 4K 60 FPS and 1080p up to 240 frames per second. Alright, so this is the video quality of the rear facing camera, and as you can see, I keep saying this about iPhone videos, they are always on point, especially when you have this dynamic range in there. Those who don't know what it is, look at the bright side in the skies and look at the dark part on the grass. It it's always going to compensate for it. iPhone videos, hey, these creatures. iPhone videos are always on point. The 7 megapixel front-facing camera is also decent at producing good enough photos and video quality. I love all the selfies I took on this, but when I started shooting videos, I realized it only shoots at 1080p 30 frames per second. And with this, unfortunately, we don't get any form of image stabilization, as you can see in the video right here. So if you're someone who shakes a lot when recording videos, this may be a problem for you. Alright, so this is the video quality of the front-facing camera. And I'm going to leave you guys to also judge the audio quality. iPhones really have a very good reputation for videos and audio. Their speakers are also very good. So let me know how it looks like. I'll be moving around now. Unfortunately, I don't think we get any form of image stabilization. So as long as I'm moving, you're going to see this little glitters in it. So yeah, there are some complaints about getting an older device like this, which doesn't come with expandable storage or headphone jack for that matter, but I still feel it's going to be appealing to some people who would want to get it as a secondary phone or even the main phone. And the fact that it is having an IP67 rating running on the latest iOS, having some amazing photo and video capabilities, and with a low price of $1,800 for the base model, the iPhone 8 Plus is still worth it. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel and other channels which I have them linked below. And as always, don't forget to share with your family and friends. This is Theo from Theyo Concept, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.